Hi friends, Right Careers welcomes you to another brand new video for this week. This is Sudarshan, your career coach. Before we get on to this week's subject, a customary notification in case you have subscribed to my channel. Thank you so much. In case you haven't, do subscribe by clicking on www.youtube.com/rightcareers and hit the bell button for all instant notifications. Now, this week we will talk about a topic that focuses more on design aspects. Now, are you someone who's keen, who's naturally creative, who's fascinated by yarns and fabrics? Then this video is for you. The topic for this week is textile design courses, or rather programs or career in textile designing. Right, so what is textile designing? Textile designing has come a long way from what it was before. But before we see how it came, we will see what is textile designing. So textile designing is a process of creating design, process of creating fabrics, fibers, dyeing and embroidery. These are, you create these things, you create embroidery, you create design, you create fabrics, etc., etc. That's precisely textile design. Now, textiles are used everywhere, right? It's not about clothing, it's used everywhere. Broadly, textile industry or design comes under fashion designing, but textile has created carved a own niche for itself, I should say. It is usually used, referred in clothing and apparel. It's also used in interior design, very much used in interior design, which we will see how. It's used in jewelry. Jewelry designing is getting very big, I should say. Even footwear designing, there is an institute for pursuing footwear designing. Footwear designing is also relates to textile designing. Fashion designing is always so. These are some of the design programs that you have got that relates with textile. Now, what are the professional career opportunity that exists in textile design? So the first thing that I can definitely think of is a textile designer. So what does a textile designer do? We just saw design textiles, design yarns, design fabrics, design prints, etc., etc. So that's what a textile designer do. The second professional career opportunity is an embroidery designer. So if you are good at knitting needles, you can definitely make a career in embroidery design. I don't need to dwell deep into embroidery design because it's very common. Most of you will understand how embroidery works. So you can become an embroidery designer. The third professional career opportunity that I can think of is you can become a fabric analyst. Now, it's an interesting career, fabric analyst. As an analyst, your job is to analyze the trends in textile and fashion and then design or come up with your own label or for the company that you work with, and then make inroads in that segment. So fabric analyst is another professional opportunity. Now, most important thing, what are the skills that are required to become a textile design professional? Definitely the first skill that I can think of, which you will agree, is creativity. You got to be highly creative if you have to choose any design for that matter, and textile design is no exception. So creativity is the first skill. You also need to have a huge interest in drawing and illustration. That's the second important trait that you have to possess. You also need to be fashion conscious. If you're not fashion conscious, then there is no point. You got to be fashion conscious naturally. You have to have the patience because it takes a lot of time to complete a project, and you require that patience. You also need to have the basic knowledge in colors or basic interest in color combination. So these are some of the traits or etiquettes or the skill set that's required if you have to make a profession in textile designing. Now, usually, where do textile designers get employed? That's a question that you might have. Textile designers are usually employed in garment and textile industry or textile houses. Garment houses and textile houses, you can be employed. Textile manufacturing units, you can definitely be employed in textile manufacturing units. You can also get employed in high-end retail outlets. Definitely you can get, for example, Satyapal is a high-end retail outlet. You can get employed as a textile designer. You can become a television and media personality. There are a lot of cinema or rather television or Bollywood or Hollywood or even Kollywood, Mollywood, wherever you go, you will have a textile designer. For example, Manish Malhotra is a renowned textile or fashion designer. We also have Ritu Kumar. You can bring your own labels, right? Ritu Kumar has their own label, and you can also become a knitwear designer. So these are some of the places where you can work. You can also become an entrepreneur. Definitely you can be an entrepreneur. So these are some of the industries where you can get employed. Moving on, the career path. How does one make a career in textile industry? So you can pursue 3-year program. You can also pursue 4 years program. So there are numerous programs in textile designing. If you want to get into the engineering side, there is definitely BTech in textile engineering, BTech in fashion engineering. Fashion is something which we will see separately, but for now, BTech in textile engineering is definitely there. And then you also have BSc programs, 3-year BSc programs, sometimes 4 years BA programs are also there. BDes, it's a very, very common program, Bachelor's in Design. It's another professional program where you can pursue textile engineering specialization. And then you have BA in textile, as we said, and then you also have BSc in textile sometimes. At higher level, post-graduation level, you also have MDes, you also have MTech in textile engineering, MA in textile design, etc., etc. So that's how the career path goes. You can also pursue PhD in case you wish to. Now, there are entrance exams like the NEET or JEE. Even textile profession, fashion profession has entrance examinations. If you are confident about it, if you're already aware about it, then there is no problem. But if you aren't, you should be knowing this because you have 3 or 4 exams. The first is AIEED, we call All India entrance exam for design. It's AIEED. Then you have the famous CEED, where the notification for 2022 has already come in all the newspapers and websites. So you can see CEED is common entrance exam for design. And then you have a separate exam for NIFT. And then if you want to pursue post-graduation, which is MTech, you have got to take GATE as usual. So these are some of the entrance exam that is there in, if you want to make a career in textile, design programs. Where to study? Naturally, NID is the top institute, National Institute of Design, Ahmedabad. So that's where you can study BDes programs. You can also study in any of the NIFTs, National Institute of Fashion Technologies, located across the country. So definitely NIFT is an iconic, or great institutes, an iconic institute. So you can study in NIFT textile specialization. You also have IIT Bombay. In IIT Bombay, you have a special cell called Industrial Design Center. That's called IDC. So you can also pursue this in IIT Bombay. And then there are a lot of design schools in private space as well. When it comes to textile, you have Symbiosis Pune offers, Symbiosis School of Design offers a program in textile designs. And then a lot of private colleges do offer such programs. You can Google it or go to some renowned career websites and have a look at it. As always in a segment, the pros and cons. The pros, nothing like, the satisfaction level you get is tremendous, because nothing like seeing your design displayed in store and people watching, you watching your design, people wearing what you designed is something you will get immense satisfaction. It's also an ideal platform for you to become an entrepreneur, because you create your own signature textile, signature brands, and then become an entrepreneur. It's a good platform for entrepreneurship. Huge money, fame, reputation, you get everything. It's quite a high paid industry, I should say. You get to work with celebrities and things like that if you make it big. Not only that, the most important pro that I can think of is you can definitely switch over from industry. If say for example, you are pursuing a textile design program, if it works, it's okay. But if it doesn't work, what happened? You can always shift to some other industry like fashion industry or some other industry. There are multiple industries. So the shifting or transition is quite easy, I should say, in this industry and this professional. These are some of the pros, and as always, the cons. Some cons. It's quite rigorous. Trust me, it's not an easy program. It's a rigorous program. The projects that you do can become very, very long and stressful. So you got to be very careful about it. A constant pressure to innovate. You got to keep on innovating in this project, because what is fashion today need not be fashion tomorrow. What was fashion yesterday can be fashion today. So this is something which you got to work. And there are also some issues with copyrights and lawsuits, which you might not be aware now, but you got to be very careful from the legal perspective as well when it comes to designing your textile. But to conclude, pursuing a degree in textile engineering is a very good option as long as you have the aptitude and skill and also the attitude to pursue such course. Textile, trust me, is an evergreen industry. We're not going back to the days of early mankind where there are no dresses. So textile is going to be an industry. Apparel and clothing, footwear are going to be an industry that's going to thrive for a long time to come, and it's going to get innovated. So in case you wish to know more about how to get into textile industry, you can always contact us. All the details are beneath this video, and do comment in case you like the video. And until next week of Trade Careers, from all of us at Trade Careers, wishing you all a happy Pongal, happy Makar Shankranti, happy Lori, happy Uttarayan, happy Bihu to everybody. Have a great festive season, and until next Monday with another brand new video. See you all. Take care. Have a safe week. Thank you.